Babylonian merchants once whispered through the smoke of incense that there was a nation even the gods were reluctant to oppose. They called it Assyria, a force that broke kings, breached walls, and transformed cities into its own shadow. But beneath the thunder of its chariots and the spears of its warriors, there was a little secret they never wanted to admit, that the greatest conqueror of the ancient world harbored fear not of its enemies, but of its own people. Assyria built its empire with intoxicating decisiveness. Every city wall that refused to submit fell. Every king who resisted was bound and dragged to the capital. Every land that refused to pay tribute was made an example. No other empire systematically taught war like theirs. They created armies of archers, heavy infantry, chariot troops, and even siege engineers who could breach any fortress as if war were their daily chore. But the greater Assyria grew, the more it had to shoulder the burden of its vast territory. Every distant province was a shadow of rebellion. Every conquered city held a grudge, and every puppet king was always sharpening his knife behind the scenes. The Assyrians knew this, so they devised a new strategy. They relocated entire nations, uprooting the people, moving mothers, fathers, and children to new territories so they wouldn't have time to plot rebellion. But like a small flame fanned by the wind, the spirit of rebellion only crept into the corners of the empire. Until one day, the nations they had once divided began to unite, from the long silent Babylonians to the lurking Medes of the north. For the first time, the Assyrians saw something they hadn't found on any battlefield, a fear that grew from within, not from the enemy. And so, the war machine that had brought the world to its knees for centuries finally realized the bitter truth, that no sword was sharp enough to cut the flames of rebellion. When their capital finally fell in flames, the invaders discovered something shocking. Even in its final days, Assyria still harbored reports of conspiracies, small rebellions, and rumors of resistance from its own people. It was as if the giant knew long before the world did that sometimes the most feared enemy isn't the one standing at the gates, but the one lurking in the shadows of the empire itself.